Audio Network, the wonderful label that we're working with. I worked with last year on Aspirations, and it was such a wonderful experience. And so we organized an event. I had my CD launch and invited you at the Biltmore, because I was submitting to the Grammys as well. It just felt natural to invite you.
It was only natural to say, hey, why don't you play with me? And that's the only time we had ever played together.
I know, it's the only and first time. You know, Ali and Jay were there, and they apparently kind of cried or were moved. And I think that was the spark to initiate this project, was right there.
For you, it was like this big circle in terms of musicality. For me, it was the musicality, but also the people. Like, you brought people back into my life that I had actually known, and so they definitely kind of catalyzed this idea. Like, the Audio Network team, they basically put into motion something that we'd been thinking of. As someone who comes from, you know, music that is quite niche in this part of the world, I'm so grateful that there's a vision and an openness by the Audio Network team to go
experience. Like, they've done so much. It was so nice to actually reconnect with a past that I had, you know, kind of dipped my foot in a different way, because I used to be part of this trio, right? I told you about this jazz fusion trio, but it was very much influenced by a lot of different cultures, but a lot of Indian, Middle Eastern. And I used to listen to, I don't know how to say it properly, but Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan is my best version of it, but you say it better.
Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan.
Oh, there we go.
I'm probably saying it wrong though as well. So.
Anyway, and I was playing with a tabla player at the time who was studying with a master of, you know, tabla for years, and I was fascinated by the culture and the rhythmic complexity and the scales that I was trying to imitate a little bit, and in my 20s, you know, and I never got to do that again, really. I worked with Moroccan musicians, but I never really touched on that, and this is kind of like circling back to that, like almost half my life later, you know, basically rediscovering it with you in a new sense on this awesome project that merges both my classical roots as a musician and also my deep curiosity for that.
Devotional music from India is generally a call and response, and so it's like a kirtan. It's called kirtan in your super traditional sense, where the singer will sing something and then the rest of the group will respond. This, to me, takes it to a whole other level, where you've got two instruments, the voice and the violin, doing this call, and then there's this, it's almost like a response, but then it comes back with its own call, and then I'm responding. So whether you started the track or I started the track, it's this beautiful call that goes into a response, that goes into a call, that comes into a response. It's almost like this infinity. I see the infinity symbol. That's why it feels so complete.
It does. Yeah, I guess.
It really does. There's no emotion left unturned with this project. The whole album is devotional music. Like, that's what Sanskrit and chants are, and us working together and you being able to dance around it and support it and love it in the way that you do with your instrument and your heart really is a testament to the power of these sounds, because it calls you to support devotion. It calls you to do that. And I didn't have to explain any of these meanings to you, and it would just blow me away at how Nathalie you would just know, like, oh, this one requires a flute because it's connected to Krishna, and I'm like, how did you know? And there's like a sweeter violin
and
because
it
of Radha.
Me. Literally,
it called. Yeah, it called. It literally. You actually told me with that track.
Did.
You were like, oh my god, it called me.
It has to have flute, and I couldn't understand a word you were singing.
Yeah,
but
most people don't understand what I'm saying, so it's fine. What's your favorite song on the album?
Oh my god, I don't know. It's so difficult to say. I have to say, Gurudeva, really, that was the first one we worked on. Yeah, I don't know. It just, maybe it's because it was the first one, and I was kind of discovering our, you know, I guess some kind of chemistry and magic and connection and putting it together. I remember, and I'm getting goosebumps saying that, just because it was like, oh my goodness, this is going to be incredible. Because there's always like that risk when you start working with somebody. You're giving trust, and you know that they're trusting you, and you don't want to disappoint. And the first time you send something, I was nervous. I'm like, maybe she's going to hate this. But I felt if I'm feeling goosebumps putting it together in that way, and that's the best cue that I can have, or the best indication that maybe it will resonate with you. And I feel like every song, whether I started it or you started it, the fact that we understood completely how to complete that piece. It was like I was sending half a puzzle, or you were sending half a puzzle, and we knew how to make it work, even though I had no idea what you were going to do on my tracks, and I think you didn't really know what kind of, things I was going to add to yours. So it was discovering magic every time. But I think because of that, Your Deva is very special. Yeah,
it is.
Yeah.
But for me, musically, it's been just this beautiful marriage of my past, because I grew up with a lot of devotional music and Indian music in the background. It wasn't something I did predominantly, but I grew up playing classical music and playing in orchestras, and I played violin for a few years. So this was a real culmination of all of the orchestra and classical music that I grew up listening to. Like I would grow up listening to Rachmaninoff, Tchaikovsky, Prokofiev. I would love going to live performances of the London Symphony Orchestra and London Philharmonic Orchestra. And so this was just an amalgamation of the worlds that I love. I love classical music, and I love the sounds of orchestras, because whenever I've heard an orchestra, it has taken me from one place and picked me up and landed me somewhere else. Like it's always taken a journey, and that's what devotional music does. So it was that perfect fusion as well, You have to tell us about In the Dark.
Yeah, I guess that was, Well, In the Dark was coming out of darkness. I mean, for me, when you put out darkness as the main emotion of a track, it's usually to come out of darkness, or to find the light at the end of that dark tunnel. And I think that's been a theme in the past few years, coming out of tunnel, coming out of crashes, coming out of different hurdles or different things that I didn't understand, or why life would throw me these curveballs or these situations and put me in a kind of a dark room in a way. And for me, I feel that it's a gift to be able to have music that can help heal, because I feel like if I heal myself, usually it will help heal others in their own stories. It doesn't have to be similar at all, but I think that's the power of music.
I also love the fact that you and I are women from two very different cultures. And this project, for me, it has many layers, many levels of meaning, as we've spoken about. But one of the things that I think is beautiful is that culturally, what we come with is extremely different. And yet, there was no explanation as to what was needed in creating this.
Right. It felt so natural, even though it's so different. Right?
Right.
So, yeah.
And I think that is just proof again of the power of music and
authenticity.
And sincerity.
See?
Well, authenticity, but it's a sincere approach, and it's seamless. It really feels like it's meant to be.
And aren't we lucky to record this in this School Farm Studios?
School Farm Studios, and
with the alpacas?
Will the alpacas.
Seriously, this studio is just...
It's amazing.
It's amazing. The sound, the vibe, the location, and...
It's a dream come true.
It is. I basically shut out kind of most of my world, and I just wanted to be in this incredible bubble of, creativity and just making this magic all together, with you and with the team in this beautiful location. It's just, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.